let's have a discussion, because earlier Ricardo and I talked about the midterm elections. We were providing an analysis, and we had said that, you notice, we wake up this morning and there was no red wave or red sea. I'm going to use the word red sea. CNN and mainstream media says, they say red wave, but I'm going to say red sea, because when you say red sea, some images come to mind. Yes? Mm-hmm. The images of Moses, yes? Right? The Moses. By
Moses parted the what? Well, not Moses. God parted the what? With breath of his nostril. What was it? The Red Sea?
The Red Sea, yes. Because the Red Sea kills. It destroys. And they wanted to cross the Red Sea. And God parted the Red Sea.
Right.
And allowed his people to cross it.
Right.
Okay? Killing the enemy.
Right.
But there was no Red Sea. Okay? There was no Red Sea. There was no red wave. In terms of this election. Okay? They were, and probably God parted the Red Sea. God parted the Red Sea. Yes, in a sense. Parted the Red Sea. That is why I'm using the imagery or the allegory of the Red Sea instead of the red wave. Because this morning, the Republicans or conservatives had predicted, yes, and suggested that there was going to be a Republican takeover, and there was going to be a red wave, red all over.
The Republicans still have
no, but if earlier we saw, but earlier you saw the map, and you saw in some cities like where is Las Vegas, Nevada, and you saw all red, but then you saw the little blue at the bottom. But they make up 75% of the of the population. 75%, majority of the population of Nevada live in majority of the population live in Las Vegas. So there we go. So we saw some red, the red over, but that the image that CNN and these analysts provide us, it's wrong. It's not accurate. You cannot, because if you're going by population, you cannot show. They're going by geography, but then they're talking about population. That's why I'm saying these people are not academics. They don't understand what they're doing. They're showing, they're providing us with news and with data and with information and pictures and providing a Red Sea, but there's no Red Sea in terms of population. But what we know this morning is that we wake up to the news that there's no Red Sea. In fact, the Senate, Democrats picked up one seat. Of course, we know that we are all aware that Pat Toomey had said he wasn't going to run again. And so, Dr. Oz, and Fetterman ran, Dr. Oz representing Donald Trump and the Republican Party, and they lost. But of course, by the way, I understand, and I need to get a word with Mr. Dr. Nolan Fontaine, who has been on the show before. I understand that he made comments to the tune that he would never vote for somebody like John Fetterman. He would never. Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of the Neoliberal Round podcast. We have breaking news concerning the U.S. midterm elections 2022, and we have a long episode for you that promises to be very revealing, very insightful. You know, many candidates are declaring that they will challenge the midterm results due to election fraud and irregularities. Question, do you believe the midterms were filled with enough irregularities to warrant a challenge? And what was your experience like? We're doing a poll. We're actually having a discussion on the community page on Spotify, and you could also participate via our feeds and website, neoliberal.com and McKenzie.com, and we're asking that particular question. Many candidates are declaring that they will challenge the midterm results due to election fraud and irregularities. Do you believe the midterms were filled with enough irregularities to warrant a challenge? And what was your experience like? And of course, we said we woke up this morning to the reality that there was no Red Sea, as if God had parted the Red Sea, as the GOP seemed to be split down the middle with the GOP, with the Democrats, which will preserve the balance of power. Yet Trump seemed to be the factor that helped the Dems. And I have breaking news regarding the midterm elections 2022 today. Because concerning election irregularity, we are hearing, and we actually observed and participated and have undercover information which would suggest election irregularity. Now, how widespread this is yet to be seen. But this seems to be a modus operandi at some polling stations. But we have a lot in store for you. So coming up next is the conversations I had with Ricardo McKenzie, my twin brother, and of course, Mr. Maurice Smith, who themselves are very erudite analysts and voters and citizens of this country who were able to sit down with me and break down and debrief what happened and this breaking news. It's the US elections 2022, right here on the Neoliberal Round Commentary. Coming up next, we'll be right back after this. So as we were saying, as we look at the elections, I have with me Ricardo McKenzie, my twin brother, and we were just talking about the election, the midterm elections, and it's by the way, it's a pleasure to have Ricardo on the show here today. We haven't had him on the show in a while. Welcome back to the Neoliberal Round podcast, Ricardo. And we were just talking about what's the latest coming out of the midterm elections today. You said that there is a young black man who was just elected as what, senator for Maryland?
Wait, I can't remember if, hold on, Westmore is his name, I think so. Westmore. And for in Maryland. No, sorry, governor.
The governor for Maryland.
Yes, he's the first black governor of Maryland, which is interesting.
The first black governor of Maryland. Consider Maryland with what?
I mean, it's isn't it like they have a really strong, affluent or African American community in Maryland?
Yes, yeah. I mean, yes, they do, but actually not.
Well, isn't that where Baltimore is? Isn't it?
Yes, yes, definitely. So you think?
Yeah, we're close to Pennsylvania,
No, I mean what you have. You might have strong. Like, look at Pennsylvania. You have Philadelphia. Philadelphia has a large amount of black. I mean, the majority is black in Philadelphia. have a large amount of black people that live in certain pockets. The density of black people is in just certain one areas.
I want to talk a little bit more about Westmore. I saw him on TV because I watched MSNBC a lot, and I saw him on TV one day, and they were talking about him, and I admire an eloquent black person, a people of color, because sometimes in front of you, they're not as eloquent. You have to deal with the ones who don't know much. Like Kyrie Irving, nothing bad against him. He's good in sports, but when you see someone like a Westmore who has a great education, with an Ivy League education, with a part of the fabric of the American society, he's a part of the Air Force, a fellow, he got an American Fellow Award. He's done so much for society. He's a black man, and he's running. Why? And we do have a lot of those people that's out there. We need more of that.
By the way, I am a fan of Kyrie Irving. Okay, I am a fan of Kyrie Irving.
Me too, Ronaldo. I love Kyrie Irving.
I am. And the guy, listen, this country is built on. I became a citizen. Yes, I'm sorry, I'm listening. I became a citizen, right? And one of the reasons I became a citizen, and I learned that why did they come to why did the settlers come to the U.S. The first settlers? Why did they come here?
Ronaldo, the Puritans came here because they wanted freedom of speech and religion.
Precisely.
They were prosecuted in Europe
precisely
by the church. A lot of them were not.
Because that is the American society that I know. But I'm telling you. Not everybody is free to speak. Not everybody is free to
that is true.
Not everybody is free to. Not everybody is free to insult other people's religion. Only Donald Trump and certain people. But other people, they're not as lucky. They're not as blessed. But anyways, that's
what Donald Trump didn't do as well. People are, while there are a small pocket of society that loves him.
Yeah.
There's some people who still don't mind him, but they just can't see him in the White House. They can't stand him. It's just it's too contrary and it's too drama. You need to keep all of this behavior inside Twitter. Maybe open up his Truth Social and still be out there, because what he does, and I know I'm going to get a lot of backlash. I don't support him. You know how I feel about Donald Trump. But what he does is what Donald Trump does best is he really and truly pulls out the ugly and show what the underbelly of America is. Yeah, it needed Donald Trump in order to come to power, we need someone like Donald Trump to show how divided and divisive we are, how ugly we can be, and how weak and fragile our society is, and how it's necessary for us to come back against that so that we don't. It's important.
By the way, you make a very important point as it relates to the election, and you bring up Donald Trump. You said that many people, many Republicans, some pundits, conservative pundits, thought that when we got up this morning, it would be after the result, it would be a red wave.
During the politics lately, the red wave or a blue wave. Mm-hmm.
Right. So that's what many people were thinking, but that's not what's happening. That's not what's happening. And I said to you earlier, the Republicans, and conservatives, and even leaders, people who run, who seek to lead, and many of them are acting like despots and dictators. Many of them think that they are safe. Many of them think that this is the 18th century or the 1950s or the 1920s, so they can say things and do things and still get away with it. Why do they think in the 21st century, in 2021, that they can tell women how to... No, I'm not for abortion, Okay?
Right.
I am not for it, but at the same time, why do they think that they can tell women, okay, they can make laws that affect a whole set of people without it not affecting them?
And a lot of people don't say that because of tribalism. It's religious based, but it's also tribal, because a lot of Republicans saying, okay, half of them don't even care. The other half are religion, and all they care about is like, okay, if that's what they believe, I'll do it. I don't care, whatever. And they don't believe. So that's what's happening. That is what is happening. And so, but for the most part, most people really and truly, generally believe that women should have the right to choose. And for some reason, I have a hard time accepting the abortion being a legal thing. But to be honest with you, I don't think it's something I need to touch. Because to be honest with you, I'm a man. It's not my business. If you want to go ahead and do whatever you want to do with your body and parental, listen, if they're going to cancel, if they're going to decide that your abortion is illegal, and you're going to tell people, wait, listen to the point I'm making. What you're trying to say that is you're going to get rid of what you call it, condoms and all of these contraceptives and all of these family planning agents and things that are implemented in order to control. And so because having kids and planning and family planning, the adult thing is very important and fundamental part of our society, that we plan correctly. So what you're saying is that let's get rid of all of this. Because if you're going to get rid of abortion, you're going to get rid of all of this family planning thing. And you can't wear, they're talking about the life aspect of it, but it's more than just that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm making any sense.
No, you are, but yeah, I understand the point you're making, definitely. You cannot look at things in isolation of other things. Mm-hmm. Okay? Mm-hmm. Things cannot be looked at in a vacuum. And the problem that we have with a lot of our decision makers and our analysts today and pundits, they are so myopic, and they're looking at things in isolation of other things, or in a vacuum. And that is why I said there is a need for academics in this country, in the seats of government, in certain places. And I think that's what's happening. A level of incompetence has crept into our society. And even among academics, where are the deep thinkers who think about all things? But you said earlier about, and we mentioned this as it relates to not many. We're waking up this morning to not see any major red wave or any kind of change. The fact of the matter is, it doesn't. There is no red wave anywhere, or red sea. In fact, in this time, midterm elections, Democrats and liberals and some black and brown people and so on, they don't usually get involved in midterm elections. But that seemed not to be the case this year. I mean, this midterm election, there was a lot of turnout.
Yeah, but I have to tell you, Florida, it's a little bit different.
Yeah, what is going on? What? Yeah.
They're saying that in Florida, it's just historically black and brown people just don't go to the polls to vote. Yeah. So this is what. So in Florida, a lot of people who, I worked within moving every location industry. A lot of people who were Republicans or right-leaning moved to Florida. A lot of people did. And in addition, you have to also understand that in Florida, a big sector of the population is Cuban and Latino. And a lot of people always believe that Latinos or Spanish people are inherently Democrats.
If you study Spanish, they're very religious. They're very and I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't use a broad brush or use any kind of generalization. But we know that if you study Spanish and Latin culture,
they're influenced greatly
the Catholic
by
Church,
their religion.
the Catholic Church.
Traditionally speaking, they're influenced by their grandparents, their church, their diaspora. I mean, so even they may not be religious, but they do have a fabric of conservatism based on their predisposition of how they were raised.
But the Catholic Church plays a very if you look how the Catholic Church has a stronghold over Spain. Back I don't know if that's the case now, but within the conservative values. So in one sense, thinking about conservative religious values and so on, So in that sense, they will be pro Republican, but in another sense, there are other issues on immigration. On immigration, that's a very important issue. Family and immigration. Immigration is very important. So the Republicans are caught between a rock and a hard place. That's a dilemma for them. And earlier I said to you, Donald Trump is still a feature in American politics, and that is what is driving people. That's what drove people to the midterm elections. We had a wave of Democrats. Biden got a lot of black and brown people, African American vote.
That's why he lost the midterm. Well, he lost the re-election bid, and he keeps saying it's stolen because people were just over. They were just over his behavior. They were over all of the craziness, the fights. They were over it. And I think instead of saying that the election was stolen, I would rather you say, even though he created support and drum up all of this hype, sensitivity. In addition, he also let down himself in a party because with his antics, all he had to do sometimes was just be quiet, not say stuff. At least at some point that you are, an American with dignity and decency. But he doesn't have that because your hubris is your downfall.
Yes, but Donald Trump has create, the fact that we are still seeing Donald Trump, he is one factor that is creating this kind of hypervigilance and this kind that is driving this kind of the backlash in terms of the Democrats and the people who are seeking to not want him to be back in power. Of course, there are those who like his economic policies, but who are these people who like his economic? They keep saying that. Pundits keep saying that. People who don't do their homework keep saying that. All they like is economic policies. Who like his economic policies? Okay, what are his economic policies? That's the point. His economic policies does not really create much opportunities for people at the bottom and people in the middle. Okay, things remain the same among people in the middle. It's the people at the top who and what they do, they invest their money. I know this morning we're learning that there's a layoff, and actually we carried a report saying that there's layoffs. There's a massive
Ronaldo,
layoff.
you hit the nail on the head, and no one's talking about it. No one is mentioning the fact that in our society today, that even though they're talking about the economy, inflation, here's the problem. Inflation is only affecting lower class people. It's not affecting the wealthy. They're going out, and people with money are spending. They are the ones that are actually affecting the inflation because they have so much more money. It is not poorer people. Inflation is we know what it is. It's too much money chasing too few goods. Yeah. But where's the money coming from? It's not coming from the bottom.
Ricardo,
it's from the top.
Yeah. Oh my God, we said that. I said we talk about inflation, and they said, oh, there's two. And I was listening to WHYY, and they're talking about how there's not much confidence in the tech industry because during COVID they were hiring all these people because they think that there was going to be a boom in the tech industry. Now there's not much boom. There's inflation, and they were saying, how is there inflation? Because there was so much money in the economy and so on. But I say to you, the people at the top are spending on luxury good. They're not spending on everyday good that's supposed to be generating revenue for the economy. The people in the middle and the bottom, their lives remain stagnant. There was no movement. The money, and if you look throughout the last 3 years, the stimulus and all the packages, who got richer? And if you look at the Gini coefficient, the Gini coefficient since COVID to now moved from 0.45 to about 1.1 or 0.9 to 1.1. The Gini coefficient studies income inequality. So people's life have not changed. Yeah. The fact of the matter, it is the people at the people at the top. The people at the top have either holding their money.
Hold on. People have forgotten that when President Trump was in power,
we got to take this up. We got to continue.
Wait.
Yes, finish. Yes, wrap up this.
The tax cut.
No, earlier we were having a discussion with Mr. Maurice Smith. We will pick up from where we left off with Mr. Smith concerning Nolan Fontaine and his denouncement of Mr. John Fetterman as a candidate he will not vote for. So we will continue. We will pick up from that conversation there, and we will continue. And of course, you will hear the story of the experience I had my first time voting in the U.S. elections and what I discovered, which I am reporting is breaking news. You must stick around for that. By the way, I understand, and I need to get a word with Dr. Nolan Fontaine, who has been on the show before. I understand that he made comments to the tune that he would never vote for somebody like John Fetterman. He would never get his vote because of how he presented himself. Yes, how he presents, and I actually say I was very disappointed with what I saw. But you can't judge a book by its cover. I wonder if our because I wonder if we're being hypocritical here, Nolan. Nolan, are you there? Because when some people, back in the days, if you present with dreads, a man presents with dreads and tattoos and so on, he doesn't have a PhD. He's not well read. Yes. We don't think like that. But then he would say that we're comparing mangoes to apples, okay, or tomatoes, and it's two different things. We're talking, okay. But look at it, not necessarily. Okay. Because he seemed sharp today, though. When I listened to him speaking, he seemed sharp. You know what I mean? He seems sharp, and he will have advisors and leaders. And part of the job of leaders is to have charisma and be able to inspire and to motivate. But he's a senator. He's not a leader, actually. He's part of the legislature. Yes? Or probably he leads on legislative items. But there is no red wave. Now, why do you think there's no red wave? I said this to Ricardo earlier when we spoke, and we're gonna play the discussion I had with my twin brother earlier. Probably it's a diatribe, but it was we were arguing hard, for want of a better expression and word, about this election and what happened and what have you and so on. But we said Donald Trump. You notice Black and brown people, African Americans, don't usually vote in midterm elections. Yes? They usually vote in general elections, but we find that African Americans seem to be coming up. They voted in this election. Many people we spoke with, and I've spoken to, who are African Americans, voted. There was some kind of energy in, yes, and even Ricardo said he took his nephew to who actually would not have voted if he didn't get a chance. But we find that energy a lot. And then you have new voters like myself who became a citizen this year who voted for the very first time. And it was quite revealing, because I believe that I don't appreciate what happened at the polling booth, and I have to talk about that. I have to tell I am very upset and I'm very disturbed. And I've written an article in the Neoliberal commentary on LinkedIn, and it's also available in the neoliberal.com, talking about conspiracy. Or truth or fact, and the plot to steal the election, and how this mail-in ballot presented as a great opportunity for that to happen, because things provide opportunity, so you have to study it to see where the holes are. Okay. And I say to you, after this was my first time voting in an election in the US, and I was not happy about the experience. The experience wasn't pleasant. First of all, I don't believe that there was privacy. I signed the book after I voted. I presented my ID. I went and they asked for my name. I didn't present my ID. They first asked me for my name, and I told them who I was and my address, and they looked me up. Then they asked me for my ID, which is weird. And at the same time asking me, how do I identify? Am I Democrat, Republican, or... do you usually do that? Do they ask you if you're a Democrat, Republican?
I never show my ID.
They were sitting at the desk. You never show your ID when you vote? What do you do?
Go over there, give them my name, sign the book, and go in there.
So, how do you... There's no verification?
Not usually.
Really? That's unusual.
Unless something has changed.
No, but how can you...
The last couple of elections I've done mail-ins.
Yeah, but how can they tell that you are the person you say you are?
I guess by your signature.
So the Republicans aren't far-fetched to want... So, I mean, why do... Well, and Democrats we believe... I'm not going to say we, because I'm not a Democrat. No, I'm a Republican. I am not going to be identified by one particular party, because I am bigger than party. I vote party or person, okay? The party, I don't serve the party serves, the parties and the people in power serve us, the people. And so we have to change our thinking, because we will easily be swayed, yeah? And cornered and succumb to doctrines and be patriots of the party instead of the country, yes? But anyways, Democrats, I mean, I'm going to tell you this, and that's why I said I'm not Democrat. That is quite unusual. There's something else I need to say. Anyway, can I tell you, what you have said to me just now is quite shocking, and
You knew that, because you know the Republicans were fighting for people to show their ID. They were saying, what's wrong with showing your ID?
Of course.
And the Democrats thought it was discrimination, because some people don't have ID.
This is quite interesting, and a lot of people don't vote. Yes, but the thing is, this is the next thing. Let me continue what happened with yesterday. When I went into the polls. Anyway, they asked me how do I identify. I said I don't identify. I'm independent. So the lady gave a weird response. She looked at me weird and she said something. Yes, but it was quite interesting. And then the other 8 representatives at the desk who looked oblivious and as if she didn't know what she was doing. Her eyesight seemed to be failing, as if she cannot see anything. And then there was a young man that seemed to be coordinating everything and trying to assist and help. And so I showed them my ID, and I saw them. They found my name, and I said, "Am I supposed to sign?" But I was trying to take the pen to sign, but she said she brushed my hand, and she said, "No, you can go ahead now." And I said, "Oh, okay." So I didn't sign. I went in. I went inside the booth and voted. While voting, the young man. Well, first of all, the young man escorted me in. A young man escorted me in and said to me, "Oh, I can be here to help you." I said, "What? No. I mean, I don't need your help. I need privacy." And he said, "Okay." I'm like, "That's weird. That's unheard of. Why would he? This is quite crazy. I've never heard of this in my life." Anyway, so he stepped out. And I was probably taking some time, because I was saying to myself, "Wow, I don't even know some of these candidates." Then as Stephen Kinsey is unchallenged.
If you were taking your time, then probably
Stephen Kinsey is
they probably thought that you didn't know what you were doing.
Stephen Kinsey, but the guy came, but he just. Well, please. I said, I know what. Anyways, he came back inside the room before I was finished. and he said to me, do you need my help? And he was looking at the screen as he was. I said, so I covered the screen with my body and said, no, what the hell? I don't need your help. Please, let me finish. And he got outside. Okay? Right after that, anyways, I was very upset that he came in, and anyways, I voted and I came out. And when I came outside, I actually recorded all of this. I was recording the entire thing. I have a video of it, of me voting and so on, because it was the first time, the first time I was ever voting in the U.S. And I haven't voted in over 10 years, so this was quite an experience. So I recorded it, and I'm a digital creator, and I record and I track information and trace it and keep it for posterity. Very important. So as I got out, I exited the booth, and the gentleman, or the young man, met me there. I don't know how old, the worker or whatever he was, and he said, "Great." He said, "Oh, he smiled, and I said, "I'm done." And then he said, "Oh, there's one more thing." I said, "One more thing, what?" And I turned around and I said, "Did you sign?" And I said, "No, I don't remember signing." And I went over, and the other woman said, "Did he sign? Did he show you ID?" And so I said, "What? Why are you? This is crazy. You're asking me all these questions now." First of all, my summation is that this was quite unusual and irregular, because if that's what happened, if this is the kind of thing that happened, then you can. What else happens? Huh? I would probably. What if I had left without signing? And that particular, I found that quite telling, and I came up with a theory, which is going to be towards the end of the podcast. The second segment or the third segment, because coming up is the conversation I had with 15 minutes conversation and discussion I had with my twin brother Ricardo as we analyzed the elections some more, and we talked about Donald Trump, who is one of the reasons why we see all of the turnout. From the turnout, he is a factor, and CNN and Anderson Cooper actually just alluded to that, and we had spoken about that earlier. Ricardo and I had spoken about that earlier. The fact that the Republican Party think that Donald Trump is helping them, but what it's doing is generating more Democrats and left-leaning people, and people who don't usually participate in elections and so on, who is anti-Trump, to get involved in the election. Because we're not seeing any red sea or any red wave today. Yes? Currently, the Republicans have 49 seats. 49. They just picked up one. They have 49. And the Democrats have 48 Senate seats. But the control of the House Senate still hangs in the balance. And of course, on the U.S. House side, they need 218 to control the House. The Republicans have 201 with 10 pickups. The Democrats have 182 with 4 pickups. And by the way, for the Senate, they need 51 to control. 49 Republicans. There's 49. Currently, there's 49 Republicans and 48 Democrats with 1 pickup. And of course, so that's what's happening. And 1 pickup is Fetterman in Pennsylvania, who is a Democrat, of course. So that's what's happening. But coming up next is we will have some more, and I will also have a little bit of the interview, I recorded the video. I recorded the video of the story I was sharing with you earlier, my first experience voting in America, and how it was telling, unusual, and irregular. I have a bit of that. I'm going to be sharing that experience with you, and of course the conversation I had with my twin brother is coming up as well. This is the Neoliberal Realm podcast. There's lots happening in the world today, so stay tuned for more. a theory. The irregularity is important because it provides an opportunity. They asked me at the table, how do I identify? While at the same time trying to verify my information. Okay?
Maybe because it was your very first time voting. I don't know. Where'd you have to go? Where was your polling?
I was at the top of at the park up here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So no, but listen to you have to listen. You have to follow me here. This is very important. I went into the. But listen to this. Listen, this is very important because I have a theory. Because I went into they asked me for how do I identify, while they were verifying me, and they were at the table as if they are the agents, and so the clerks, the polling clerks, and so on, and they are there at the table doing, and at the same time asking me how I identify. That's something is wrong with that, huh? Anyways, I told them that I was neutral, and then they didn't tell me to sign. They told me to go and vote. And while at the same time, they have someone coming into the booth to look how I'm voting. Now, if I had voted Republican or something else, other than Democrat, because that's a Democratic polling. Everybody there who wants it, they have Democrats, okay? That's a Democratic. A lot of Democrats. First of all, Stephen Kinsey didn't even have any challenger, okay? Okay, no one challenged him. The Republicans didn't even care to provide any candidate, a challenger, okay? Unopposed. What happened if I had voted, because the young man came and saw me, if I had voted something else, well, at the end, when I was finished voting,
Who'd you vote for?
all Democrats, all over, okay? If I had voted anything else, right, you know what would have happened? Then they would have told me yeah, you can leave them, you're done. You know what would have happened after?
You're.
You know what would have happened?
What that is that you're saying?
That's a conspiracy theory.
But you know,
but you know what would have happened after? You know what would have happened? Yes, there is election fraud. I voted before I signed. That's already I signed after I voted. That is fraud.
I go in there, I tell them my name, through the book, find my name. I'm usually right underneath my dad. My dad always goes early in the morning, so they say sign your name. I sign my name, and they said, all right, we're going to the booth. I go into the booth and vote.
But listen, so when you're telling me that's not like election, it's conspiracy. No, it's because it's all.
And I said maybe that was your process,
but
this is your first time voting, perhaps.
To vote after if it's my first time, that's when I really need to verify. Okay. I really. First of all, what if I'm not even a? First of all, I discovered that I had a voter's ID since 2016 because the voter participation office sent me that I didn't participate to vote, but they had record of me saying that there was some kind of ID. So if that's how people vote, where you don't need an ID or anything like that, then okay, I'm telling you, something seems irregular or unusual here. What I'm telling you. Now, furthermore, and to add insult to injury, or to continue the story of conspiracy, whether or not it's not conspiracy that I voted after before I signed. That I signed after I voted. Okay? That the check, and not only that I'm being asked to declare a party before I go into the booth at the poll by the polling clerks there at the table who were registering me and so on. Okay? That is irregular. Okay? Further, what is also irregular? So therefore, what I'm telling you, if this is what would have happened then they would have sent me home if I did not vote all Democrat, because the guy they came in behind me.
Assumption.
They came in. Okay, they came in behind. They came in behind me.
That's an assumption.
They came in and looked, and I said, "What the hell? Get out!" Okay, but he saw.
They assume because of the amount of time that you were taking that you didn't.
Yeah, but he spent some time to peruse my. He looked over. He looked fine. Talk to me. Don't look at the screen. He looked at the screen, and smiled and saw that I had voted all Democrat. So when he came, he said, "Oh, by the way, there's one thing you need to sign, right?"
He looked at your screen. That's
yes.
illegal.
He looked at the screen. Yeah, he did this. You need any help? And looked at the screen. Have it on recording. Have it on video. Okay. And then, you know what else he did? Then he said, by the way, there's one last thing after I exited. There's one last thing you haven't done. You haven't signed the book. So if I had not, if he had looked and did not see that I had signed, that I had voted, how satisfied the Democratic polling station, I mean, whatever. Okay. They would have told me to go. He said, okay, fine. And I said, that's it. And I left. I would have left the station. Yeah, I mean, left the polling station. And then they would have said, oh, he did not sign. So they would have voided that vote. Voided it because it would have been voided. And therefore, the Republicans or whoever I voted, which is other than Democrat, would have lost that vote.
That's
okay.
But excuse me. But how do you know that to be fact? You don't know that to be fact.
Well, it is because listen, you have to look at the logic. You have to look at what I'm telling you. It is irregular. Why would they allow me to? I was trying to vote.
That would be the next logical step, or perhaps
I was trying to vote. Okay, so what? Well, I mean that's a hypothetical, and people don't get into hypothetics. But that is the point I'm making is because of that irregularity.
Look how red Pennsylvania is. Erie is blue, Allentown is blue, Philadelphia is blue, Pittsburgh is a little blue.
It's kind of dark blue.
But everything else
it wasn't that blue though. It's becoming blue now.
Everything else in Pennsylvania is red.
But you see, that's what I'm telling you. The mapping is incorrect. The mapping is incorrect.
Well, no, I mean Philadelphia. Where's Harrisburg?
You have to do it by density, population density, not by terrain and geography. That's what the when you look at the voting map and you're looking at in terms of the concentration between comparing Democrat, and you're looking at it visually, that is incorrect. I'm telling you, CNN and these other the mapping, they need to look at population density in terms of voting, okay? Not when you're looking at the votes and where the blue versus white and so on. That suggests that there's Republicans everywhere. But no, you have to look at it in terms of population, because how many people live in those places? 5. Okay, but it's all red. No, you you have to show it in terms of density, point spread. You know, you understand what a kind of dispersion, grouping, and so on and so forth. You can't show all. That's why I'm telling you, these people, they say they are mainstream. Yes, they say they are mainstream media and they are above the rest. But the way how they report and communicate, and even how they read information, is nonsensical, unacademic. Okay, it's not erudite, and it's not effective communication. It lends itself to discombobulation, yes, and confusion. This is what I'm talking about. We'll be right back after these messages. We will continue on the Neoliberal Round podcast, looking at the election, and of course, yes, claiming election irregularity at a polling station in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, right here in Germantown, in the Duval Morton area. This is breaking news only on the Neoliberal Round podcast. Anyways, I said I tweeted just now concerning. I sent out a tweet, and if I could find it, I was working. I was tweeting though, and I said, "What? installing. I am not sure what's going on. Suddenly, I was tweeting something, and suddenly I lost the tweet. The Twitter just disappeared from my phone.
Really?
Yes, and said it's now reinstalling. Suddenly, yes. Look, I in the middle of. I pressed tweet. I was about to read it to you, and suddenly, it's just everything disappeared. Anyways, but at least it went back to the page. But I tweeted just now. I said this, and if I could find it, I have breaking news regarding the midterm elections 2022 today at 5 on the Nilova Round podcast concerning the election irregularities in Philadelphia, PA. Stay tuned or subscribe on any stream and get instant notification when the show becomes available. And
That's what you tweeted?
yes, and I put the link to it, and then I added another tweet. We woke up this morning to the reality that there was no Red Sea, as if God had parted the Red Sea. As the GOP, because the GOP seemed to be split down the middle with the Dems, which will preserve the balance. Yet, Trump seemed to be the factor that helped the Dems. Later on the Nilova Round podcast.
But that still remains to be seen whether or not the Democrats, will maintain a back. Well, what did you say? Read that again.
Okay, I will.
The second one, not the first.
All right, I will. I said. We woke up this morning to the reality that there was no Red Sea, as if God had parted the Red Sea, as the GOP seemed to be split down the middle with the Dems, which will preserve the balance. Yet Trump seemed to be.
That remains to be seen. Because
What?
there's still a chance that there might not be a balance. There's still a chance that the Republicans will take control. There's going to be a runoff in Georgia, and they're still undecided in, I believe, Nevada and one other state, Arizona. One other state. Are you recording this? No, one other state that Republicans could also take control of.
But there is no Red Sea, doesn't matter, because even if they control the Senate, it's still going to be a split. 48 plus the vice president, that's 49. Okay? So it's going to be what? 51-49? That makes... And okay, and let's take the House, for example. Even if they take the House, how much majority they're going to have? What's the majority? Probably what? 5. Right now, 10 seats. And they have picked up seats already. They have picked up some seats. So it's going to be a slim majority. And I understand that right now, even right now, the House, Republicans are on shaky ground. They are on shaky ground. I'm telling you, this win is nothing for them to be happy about. Usually, they would win. When whoever controls the House, they would control easily. We would wake up this morning and they control, the Republicans control the House, the Republicans control, that's usually the case. And of course there was not many black and brown or people or Democrats participated in the midterm elections, but that's not what happened. That's not what happened at all. So that's even if they control the Senate and the House, it's a very slim majority. Okay, and then of course, a majority that cannot overrule the president's veto. Yes. So there we go. Thank you for listening to another powerful episode of the Neoliberal Round podcast. And please donate or support us by visiting https://anchor.fm/theneoliberal/support. And please send us a feedback. Share the show with your friends and family, and subscribe to the show for free by adding us to any stream where you get your podcast. And please get a copy of my book, Neoliberalism, Globalization, Income Inequality, Poverty and Resistance, which is an academic textbook that looks at the dynamics in the world between the global south and the global north, within and among peoples, looking at income inequality and poverty and strategies of neoliberal globalization, studying the World Bank, the IMF, so on and so forth. And it provides a case study of some countries and some situations. It's available in all platforms all over the world. So please get a copy of it and let me know what you think of it. And of course, just so you know, that I will be publishing, my second book will be out soon. We are working on it. It's called Neoliberal Globalization Reconsidered. I will talk to you some more about it. But coming up next on the Neoliberal Run podcast, we will do part 3 of my personal statement, serving the world today to solve tomorrow's challenges, which I didn't get a chance to complete. We did part 1 and we did part 2, but we didn't do part 3. So I will do part 3 of that, and we will also catch up with the honorable judge concerning the launch of the foundation, looking at reducing recidivism, the foundation, the sentencing foundation, providing resources so as to beef up and to supplement and support the resource-based supervision, resource-based supervision program that they are having. So we need to I will follow up with you on that and let you know how that's going. And we also understand that Teal Jackson has a book that's coming up. We will meet up with her and find out how that's coming. We will have an interview with her to find out some more about that second book. We'll talk with her about that. Teal Jackson, of course, is the author of I'm Not a Hypocrite, I'm Human, and we had her on this show. And there's so much other breaking news that we will provide commentary on. This particular discussion will also be available as a commentary or an editorial in the neoliberal.com, and also in RinaldoCMcKenzie.com, or you could visit my blog, Rinaldo C. McKenzie, at blogspot.com, or of course you can get all things at neoliberal.com. But I just want to say thank you for all your support, and that we can facilitate critical thinking. And my position is not a privileged position, but it's a position that is well thought out. And it's good to think about all things and to explore all things so that we can serve the world today to solve tomorrow's challenges, come to an understanding, and we can improve our lives so that we can live together as one effectively. And there are issues and kinks that we need to resolve and we need to sort out. But thank you. And we want to give a shout out to Winston McKenzie and Kenneth O'Connor, who continue to support this show. Thank you so much. Walk good, everyone.